Hey guys, this is Zlewikk, and welcome back to another video on EU5. I told you recently in my summary of the best features and biggest changes coming to that game that I will not be doing weekly videos anymore. But today is a good chance to make a important video because we finally got a full map of the world in EU5 with different map modes. And on top of that, today there was also a dev diary released, going a bit deeper into terrain types, topography, etc. and what they're actually doing to gameplay. So I'm gonna walk through both of these dev diaries. First of all, this is the full map of the countries in EU5. We'll pretty much walk through all of it. This is the version where subjects are colored with a color, but they are still separately visible to your country, like you see here in France. You can see in Poland, especially in Silesia with Bohemia. Pretty empty Africa, but not necessarily you see in one of the other screenshots. Same for the Americas. They seem very empty. This is the same map with colored wastelands, so it looks a bit prettier, like especially Chagatai just compared this to this. I'm definitely gonna play with the colored wastelands. And as we discussed in the various videos, this also shows us generally the most interesting countries to play in EU5, where it's gonna be definitely Golden Horde, the Western Europeans like France, England and Castile for sure, but all of the neighbors as well, Italy, Poland for sure, Jalarids, Yuan will be a bit of a challenge, same for Delhi, but also the Shogunate, the Majapahit, for sure the Ethiopia in Africa or Mali. There will be a lot of fun playing them. This map seems empty, but if we go and get a bit closer, you'll see that this is a map mode of building-based countries. So we have Hansa for sure, and we have the clans in the Shogunate for sure. And when I'm looking at the map mode, that seems mostly about it, and there are more over here. I'm not sure what they're doing. Maybe they are the banking countries. And this is what I wanted to show you when I said, oh, this terrain seems empty, but in fact it's not, because we have societies of pops, so an entity that is not yet a country, and it's just pretty much natives. You see there's plenty of them in Northern America, a bit less in the Southern America. There's a lot in Africa itself, so definitely it's filling up with the countries together. Southeast Asia as well, but also a lot of on the steppes naturally, and we even have a few in the Scandinavia. Dynasties map mode, nothing really deep here to check, except you can see the corridors here in Africa. The government types, you see it's mostly monarchies, there are some theocracies, republics, steppe hordes, obviously, the brown color that we see in a lot of places, there are tribes. And I think this is all of the government types that I can find right now. Language court, much simpler maps, like you can see French in both England and France, Latin spread with the Lehits, so the Polish language. In Poland, sort of Persian. It looks like it's also used on the court of Delhi. Kipchak here, a lot of Arabic, but not as much as I would expect. That's one of the most interesting ones. Locations map mode. Around 30,000 of them. And I think this is the first time that we're seeing in more details all of the various sea locations for which you'll be able to travel. And it looks really nice. Really nice. It's dope. Look also at the amount of the islands we have on the Pacific Ocean. Provinces, areas, that gets much simpler. That could be an EU3 map mode. Climate, and about climate we'll talk a bit later. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Topography, so we can see topography is pretty much the height of the terrain. It can be a flatland, mountains, etc. Vegetation. So what actually is, what kind of stuff is growing in the province? So there's a desert, forests, woods, spars, farmlands, grasslands, etc. Development, here, even though it's called Europa Universalis, Asia is the center of the development in the 14th century, especially China. especially the valley in India, a bit of northern Italy, but it's still far behind the Asians. This is the harbors map mode, and to be exact also the European harbors, because they started introducing this in a bit late dev diaries, which is also pretty much as expected, like obviously Constantinople, we've got the Piraeus here, we've got Danzig, Elbląg, and many more across whole Europe. Cultures, if you know, they keep also getting deeper into that, because that map mode was simpler when they first released it, and so they keep getting more and more of changes to it with every feedback they receive from the player. Language that is dominant, Lechitic in case of Poland. Religions, and here another comment that we have from them is that, you know, because first there was just animist everywhere. Then they started releasing thousands of animes for every like culture and region. And now they're starting more like consolidating the animist regions. The animist split was completed and the grouping into bigger families is almost finished. There's some pending work on the Western and Eastern Africa, but that's it. That's pretty much how they want the animist to look like. Okay, in case you've missed any dev diaries about religions, we've got plenty of them except animes that are new. We've got the shamanists, we've got the Mayapazite, and we've got plenty of the other religions, probably over 1,000, that were not present in EU4. Raw materials, you can see how much of work it has to be, but yeah, I'm not gonna go deep into that. The markets, the lightest point on each market is the capital of this market, and then the lighter the color of that market, the higher market attraction, and the darker it is, the higher chance that this location is gonna move to another market. A lot of them are similar to EU4, but we can see also plenty of changes, but most important change, this will be dynamic. Like, I love that Japan is like a third of America. But yeah, to sum up some of the stuff that they didn't share us globally, because they're showing, oh, there's a population in Africa like this, or here like this. There's 421 million pops in game at the start, and obviously it will be growing for the 500 years of the gameplay. The distribution is 99 million pops in Europe, 260 of them in Asia, 37 million of them in Africa, 20 million in the Americas, and 1.8 million in the Oceania. Fucking Oceania in Polish. That's it. They did not reveal yet what is gonna be the release date of the game, but you see it's very deep into development, so you can my bet is still, I'm doing that for half a year. My bet is Q1 2026 for the release date. And important information, on Friday they're gonna start Tint of Flavor. So what kind of flavor they're adding for specific nations, culture, religions in game. I'm really looking forward to it. I will be probably condensing a few dev diaries every now and then. But first, let's go into the climate topography dev diary. Just a reminder, each location has a climate, topography, and a vegetation. Of course, many other stuff, but about the terrain, these are the three main things impacting it. In EU4, topography and vegetation were combined into one, right? You could have mountains, you could have forest, you couldn't combine these two. Technically, you can combine these two in EU5. So for climate, you see this is gonna mainly have an impact on your population capacity, development growth, and life expectancy, and what kind of winter you are having in the area. So we've got tropical climate, which is increasing the population capacity. There are no winters, but it's decreasing life expectancy. Subtropical is having even higher population capacity. Oceanic is having a bit lower because there are mild winters. Arid is not increasing population capacity at all, and we've got decreased wet production and less life expectancy. Cold arid is decreasing wet production. Mediterranean is the best climate to live in because it gives you 150% population capacity. Continental is a bit worse with 50%. Arctic is pretty much the worst, it's minus 55% population capacity, minus 25% development growth, and minus 5 life expectancy. Vegetation represents the foliage cover of a location, so you can have a desert, and you see vegetation impacts much more stuff than the climate. Can have sandstorms. it impacts movement cost for armies, agile build time, road build time, development growth, food production and population capacity. So in case of sparse, it mostly does not have any negative impacts, but it also increases population capacity. Same for the grasslands, you see it's same for farmlands, just more stuff impacted. But when you go into terrains like woods, it's also impact on the dice roll, and it's like in EU4 -1 and -2. But like in the old days in EU4, it's gonna also impact the frontage of the battle, so how many units can be in the battlefield itself. Woods gives you -2. But interestingly, woods also blocks vision from the adjacent sea, while forest is a bit more dense woods. It gives you even more frontage impact, and it blocks vision from adjacent land as well. This is something new, I can't see what is next by. In case of a jungle, it's the same two modifiers, but the frontage impact is even higher because it's -4. So keep in mind, vegetation can impact the dice roll up to -1, but then we've got topography, which can impact it by another -2. So technically you could have -3 in a battle because of topography and vegetation. So for topography, we've got flatlands, we've got mountains, you see -4 frontage, -2 dice roll. Movement is blocked in winter in the mountains, and same for the vision. And like development growth, you see how much it's impacting our population capacity. We've got hills, we've got plateau, which is something new, and this is high altitude, but more flat terrains. We've got wetlands, and then we've got 5 different terrain types for the naval terrains. We've got ocean, +1 naval attrition, deep ocean, +2, coastal ocean, inland sea, which can freeze during winter, and narrows, which can also freeze during winter. The movement cost for navies is higher, there's a dice roll impact for attacker, maximum frontage is decreased, and it blocks vision from the adjacent sea. You see, lakes, salt pans and atolls exist, but they are just graphical variants of the coastal oceans, even if lakes could freeze over during winter. Okay guys, this is it for today. Let me know what you think about the current state of the EU5 map, and how much from 1 to 10 you are excited for that game. And of course tell me why. If it's 1, why you hate this game so much. If it's 10, what is the most exciting for you? And obviously subscribe to the channel to get notified about the future videos. Bye!